What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Unhinged Talk. As usual, I'm your host, Patrick Hennessy, joined today by the man, Sean Petrucci. How we doing today, Sean?
Doing well. How you doing?
Listen, I'm doing pretty well. You know who else is doing pretty damn well? Gary Sanchez, bro. We can't talk enough good things about him at this point. He's raking. We're seeing vintage Gary Sanchez. But before we get too into that, everyone be sure you guys know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more. We're going live before and after every single Yankees game this season. But Gary Sanchez, there's not enough nice things to say about this guy at this point. It's unbelievable. Let's just go back to 2020 real quick, right? He was easily the most hated Yankee. Fans were calling for him to be released. DFA Gary, trade him to any team for a bag of chips. And now, all offseason, I don't want to say I told you guys, but I kind of told you guys, have faith in him this season, right? Just go into the season with an open mind, see what he could do. So far, Gary Sanchez is looking at all of his haters and laughing, bro. And it's just so strange because usually, like, when a guy's on a hot streak, like, you can make one video about them and kind of just get all the content you need. We made a video about Gary Sanchez about a week and a half ago, kind of saying how he should take over for Kyle Gashioka as Garrett Cole's personal catcher and just let him catch Garrett Cole a little bit more. But now Gary Sanchez's offense has improved so much more in this past week and a half that we're going from the question of whether or not he should start catching for Garrett Cole because his bat's so good to now whether or not he's back to being the Yankees' best hitter like 2016, 2017 Gary. Unreal to think about that we can now question whether or not Gary Sanchez is the best hitter. And to answer that question myself, I think that's an easy yes. I don't know one guy in the Yankees lineup right now that I would trust more in a big spot than Gary Sanchez.
Right now, I would agree with that. Overall, there's probably, you could have an argument about overall, but right now, I want Gary Sanchez up in pretty much any situation possible. Any situation possible.
100%, 100%. You look at these clutch hits that he's had over the past couple of weeks, right?
Not even just like garbage time homers.
No. You look at the Blue Jays home run, pinch hit shot. You look at the one he had on Wednesday night against the Royals, bro. An absolute missile to tie the game in the ninth. These are just moments from Gary Sanchez that you love to see, and he looks so confident at the plate, right? His approach at the plate is so much more different. Just his demeanor is so much more different. And I think right now, if you look at like let's say his last 25 games or so, right? The dude's batting over 340 at this point. Just stupid. He has 8 home runs, 18 RBIs, basically a 1,200 OPS. Like, these are ridiculous. These are 2016 Gary Sanchez numbers. And I think it's so funny to think about because, Sean, who would have ever thought that we would see this return of Gary Sanchez? No one. And if anyone said that he would, we would call them crazy.
No, and I never hated Gary Sanchez. Like, I was never one of the like calling for his neck to get like off this team like crazy. But I do remember saying in our prediction video with all the guys, I did say that, like, you asked, I think, who's gonna have the most disappointing year, and I said Gary Sanchez. And so I will gladly admit that I was way off, but like, this is just, I wasn't the only one.
Yeah.
And this is like all the Yankee universe is like, we are never going to see Gary Sanchez like 2016. He peaked that year, basically.
For sure. And Gary Sanchez
comes back 5 years later.
He's batting above 240 now. 2020, I believe his batting average to end the season was like 147. His batting average is a full 100 points higher. If that's not the turnaround that Yankee fans were clamoring for, I don't know what is. I genuinely don't know what is. And the scary part is that, like, Gary Sanchez could get even better.
He could.
Like, I know that's like me saying, oh, like, you're crazy. But I think if you just look at the adjustments that he's made, he's kind of like not completely abandoned the highlight kick, but he's definitely more methodical in his approach. It just looks more fluid. Sometimes he utilizes the toe tap. Sometimes it's a very modest leg kick. He's not going all out or nothing like he was in 2020. So I think if you look at this approach, it's possible that he could get even more comfortable than he is right now. And if he just continues to rake, not only can we see Gary Sanchez an all-star, okay, but we could also see Gary Sanchez continue this ride this season and finish the season and earn himself a contract extension. That's not too crazy to think about, Sean.
No, it would be crazy to think about that at the beginning of the year because, like, we have good catching prospects too.
Yeah.
And people even wanted Higgy to start. Like, this is like the end of Gary Sanchez coming into this season. And that's why it's like, you want to say, like, you're proud of the guy. Like he put all of it
100%.
behind him. So proud of Gary Sanchez. Yeah.
Bro, 1000%. And I think that that's something that we don't talk about enough either, right? The whole mental aspect of it. Can you imagine? Gary Sanchez was asked after Wednesday's game, kind of like how it feels for the crowd in the Bronx at 100% to be chanting
Right?
Gary Sanchez now, when before last season they were booing him every time he would come up to bat. And he's like, you know what? Like, I'm obviously grateful for the fans that they're like rooting for me now, but I wish that like they could still root for me even when I do bad. And unfortunately, that's just not how New
Not
York
gonna happen.
works.
No.
But I think Gary Sanchez has officially like won over the Yankees fan base. If there is any Gary Sanchez haters out there, they're definitely in hiding because there's no way you could hate on him right now.
No, you can't.
Sean, you could make an argument that he's almost single-handedly carrying the New York Yankees. You
I'd
could
say-
make that argument.
You could make the argument, but like he was one of the guys where it's like Aaron Judge is going to be solid, and Gio Urshela is solid, but we needed someone else to step up, and he finally did. Even when like Gleyber Torres right now, he's awful, but then we have Gary Sanchez emerge, and he's carrying.
Bro, it's so crazy. That's the only way I could describe like the renaissance of Gary Sanchez, right? Because even if you look back at like last time we saw Gary at such an exponential level like this was at some point in 2019 when he went on a little bit of hot streak, right?
Yeah.
But it was nothing like this.
No.
Nothing like this. The last time I can remember Gary Sanchez going on a hot streak like this was maybe, I think it was June of 2017 or August of 2017. One of those summer months in 2017, he had an absolute demolishing month. And that's exactly what we're seeing so far in this month of June. And like I said, I mean, kind of going back to the video that we posted 10 days ago, I truly think that the Yankees should start catching Gary Sanchez when Garrett Cole pitches. I think at this point, I kind of understand where Aaron Boone's coming from when he says, well, Gary Sanchez can't catch every day anyway. So if we kind of make his off days on days where Garrett Cole pitches, sure. But I think it goes way beyond rest days and everything, right? I think you have to look forward to the postseason with this.
Exactly.
Because unless Gary Sanchez has like a disaster month of July, August, and September, like you need him in the lineup for game one of whatever playoff series you're walking into. And yes, the Yankees are making the playoffs. So I need Garrett Cole and Gary Sanchez to have some sort of experience under their belt together besides opening day. You know what I mean?
Do it now. Not every single time he starts. Do it. Yeah, like, I don't know, 6 or 7 of his remaining starts, 5 or 6 remaining starts. Do it with Gary Sanchez.
Sean, let me ask you a question. Do we think Gary Sanchez finishes the season with over 25 home runs?
I would say over. He's got a large. I mean, he doesn't even have to continue on the pace he is now. He was at what? 5 2 weeks ago?
13 right now. He has 13.
Is it 5 or 6 2 weeks ago?
Bro.
Like, he doesn't have to hit 7 in like this crazy month. He just does what he normally does. Even when he hits like 180, 190, he's on a good home run pace most of the time.
Yeah. I think he hits over. 25. I think we might see like a 30 home run season from Gary Sanchez.
I could see like 28, 29 maybe.
Which would be unreal. But also, one more over-under. Is he going to bat over-under? I know batting averages and everything. Yeah. It's a fun stat to look at.
It's fun with Gary Sanchez.
Over-under 225.
Right around it. Because he's not finishing 240, let's just say. Probably not. Probably.
But bottom line, Sean, bottom line here, if Gary Sanchez finishes the season batting 225 with 30 home runs.
Yes, please. Every year.
That is exceptional. Exceptional.
Yeah. Yeah, because the bar with him is set at like, if you hit 190 and you hit 30 home runs, we're happy with you.
Bro, I'm ecstatic with Gary Sanchez right now. I've always loved Gary Sanchez. I've always had faith in Gary Sanchez, despite the fact that Yankee fans have been ripping him to shreds for like a year and a half now. But I think he's finally back. I think we finally see the renaissance. And I think to answer the main question of the video here, has he once again become the Yankees' best hitter, something that we'd never expect happen?
That's
yes,
a conversation.
As of right now, you can make a very strong argument that Gary Sanchez is currently the best hitter in the Yankees lineup, and that's a crazy thought. But with that being said, that is going to wrap things up for today. Appreciate everybody for stopping by. You guys know the deal. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more, and keep rooting on Gary Sanchez. Clearly it's working. Clearly the Gary chants are working for him. So you guys know the deal. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. Let's go Yankees. Let's go Gary Sanchez. Peace.